Let's get a reader on what themes are set to drive markets this week. Pete McGuire joining us from XM. Pete, terrific to talk to you on this Monday morning. Before we look forward, we should probably look back, given that really important number as far as non-farm payrolls on Friday night. How did you see that?
Well, good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Kara. 559,000. So I thought it was fairly impressive, Andrew. And that really had a very positive mood as far as markets overnight. The Nasdaq was up nearly 1.5%, S&P just shy of 1%, and the Dow up 0.5%. So it was well thought through. 559, unemployment rate at 5.8%. So it's slowly coming down, and this over this northern hemisphere summer, I'm expecting even stronger numbers possibly for June. So let's just see where this rolls, but overall a good sign.
And Peter, a bit of movement when it comes to the Australian dollar, dipping below that 77 cents mark on Friday, but it's right back where we started, that sticky level, that 77.50 hanging on there this morning. Can we expect any further movement this week, do you think?
I'm not sure really, Kara. I don't think the Aussie's really the place to be. There's other markets far better than that one at the moment. There's little swings, and certainly it's not bad as far as trading, but I feel as though that it's going to be fairly range bound. I'm not really, I haven't got a lot of strong moves to, take a 78 handle out anytime soon. I think it's just going to consolidate where we are. I'm interested as far as that ECB meeting this week and what happens as far as the preliminary talks, or do we get talks as far as the PEP, which is expected to expire the taper in March of 22. So it's not a big week as far as news, but I'm really quite interested to see the focus as far as commentary and what their general themes are coming out of Europe.
Yeah, not just Europe, but also the Bank of Canada too, given their stance at the moment, just as far as exiting that QE process. But back to the States, Pete, just looking forward, do have that important CPI read this week, of course. It was a bit of a shocker in April. What's likely to drive your thinking in terms of the opportunities, given where bond yields are in particular at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Well, I also take on board as far as Yellen's concerns, and she wants to see possibly higher rates. So there's the first part there. ECB, we've got the Eurozone coming out. Their CPI will probably hit 2% for May, Andrew. So I think that the US will really shoot the lights out as far as, stronger CPI numbers. And that's the great concern, where inflation plays and how 22 stacks up. So I'm thinking that you're going to see this next 7 months leading into the start of January are going to be, I think, a pretty wild time for markets, and all building in for a very, very fascinating time to be a volatility trader over 22.
Yeah, so would you be buying the volatility now, given that we did see a bit of a drop on Friday in the VIX? Would you be buying it now?
Sure. Well, I think it's possibly a time to certainly have it in a portfolio and be conscious of it. I saw gold tick back up to 1892. It's been all over the shop in the last week. We took 1920 out, or 1910, I think, and then it fell down to about 1860. It's back at 1892, Kara. So very, very volatile times for that market. And I'm also seeing, as far as crude, we spoke on that a couple of weeks back, and we said to everyone that it'll probably get through 70. We've got Brent now just shy of 72. You've got WTI approaching $70. So that's really going to cause more concern to the wallet and the purse, and what Andrew mentioned earlier as far as CPI and inflation story. So while it's great to be a producer, the consumer, I was speaking to India the other day, they've got triple figures for the first time as far as gasoline prices across their nation. So it really is causing great concern and harm, and certainly it could be the elephant in the room sticking out over here as far as CPI and major concerns leading forward.
And Pete, what are you seeing in the UK? Of course, that reopening story still in play, the vaccine story going well. Some GDP numbers in focus?
Yeah, very much so, Kara, I think so. And it may be a rerun in a lot of ways what we saw last summer, and that sweeping changes across Europe, and they opened the doors, and then it was quite a boom time for Europe and for the UK over that period. So hopefully it's going to be a similar mindset leading into the UK and very much across the continent. 500 million people, hopefully crisscrossing their wonderful mini nations and enjoying first off, some tourism. Secondly, some economic horsepower adding to it. And I'll throw the birds of paradise behind me. Maybe that's going to be a good luck story for all of those nations.
Pete, always great to check in with you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, Kara.